Welcome to GroSum Getting Started video number 3. How do you measure employees' performance? Do you evaluate based on KRAs, core skills, values, etc.? Do you follow balanced scorecard models? In GroSum, we help you set up the performance evaluation model at your workplace through a flexible setup process, and that's what we are going to cover in this video. The key configurations here are setting up the categories of evaluation, a library of performance measures, review templates, and rating scales to evaluate employees. Let's first look at how you can maintain performance categories. Say in your company you evaluate employees distinctly on work goals and competencies. In GroSum you can set these up as performance categories. Now let's say that work goals are classified by balanced scorecard perspectives, that is customer, financial, internal process, learning and development. Yes, you can set these as perspectives for each category. Now let's have a look at how you can maintain a library of performance measures. For each of the performance categories, you can maintain a central repository of unique performance measures that are used to evaluate employee performance. Here you can add measures manually or through easy Excel uploads. For each measure, you can classify the perspective it is associated with. Next, you can set measures to evaluate individual department or organization performance. For example, employee satisfaction may be set as a departmental KRA for the HR department, because it is usually a group effort rather than an individual's responsibility. Similarly, for organization, profitability can be set up as an organization goal. Next, you can set measures as measurable or subjective to indicate whether it can be measured against actual performance based on a set target or needs to be rated qualitatively by a reviewer based on a rating scale. Example of measurable goals are attrition, revenue, profitability, etc., all for which a quantifiable objective target can be set. On the other hand, examples of subjective measures are communication skills, customer relationship, typical subjective parameters that requires evaluation on a subjective basis. For measurable goals, you can set indicators on whether a higher or lower actual indicates good performance or not. For example, let's take a goal like revenue booking, where more one achieves, the better it is. So this parameter will have an upward indicator, as against customer complaints, where lower an achievement indicates better performance, and thus a downward indicator. Also, for measurable parameters, you can set limits that helps you reward overachievement. Let's understand this with an example. Say the limit on a revenue booking goal is set as 200%. Now let's take the case of two sales guys, X and Y, whose targets were set as $2 million. During the year, X achieves exactly the target of $2 million, while Y achieves a $5 million booking, a whopping 250% overachievement. Of course, Y should get recognized because of this performance. The limit that you set here allows Y to be rated higher than X based on actual achievement. For each performance measure, you can set descriptor fields to help define the measure specific for an employee's role. So taking the example of a goal on customer relationship, you can help define different measures and KPIs based on who is being evaluated, say a customer support rep as against an account manager. Of course, adding data in GroSum is always easy. The Excel format that GroSum provides helps you to quickly upload all your measures with different parameters. Once you have set your library of performance measures, next up you can define review templates that groups performance measures used to evaluate specific job roles and functions. You can set such templates applicable to departments, designations and bands of employees, so that employees can quickly reference and identify the measures related to their profile in the company. Finally, let's have a look at how you can set rating scales to evaluate the different performance categories. For each rating scale, you can set the number of rating points. The display value for each rating point, like A, B, C, D, E, or even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever be the nomenclature you want to have. The equivalent percentage score for each rating point that will be used to calculate the performance score of an employee. And finally, set the categories that will use this rating scale. You can even set a scale as a default, such that during reviews this scale gets automatically assigned to evaluate that category. Once done with setting up your performance engagement model, GroSum is now ready for you to set goals and run performance reviews of employees. Keeps getting simpler, isn't it? Yeah, GroSum is a smoothie to get going.